The neon sign outside Rosie's diner flickers 3 times before dying completely, plunging the sidewalk into shadow. Chen doesn't even look up. She's seen that sign die and resurrect itself 100 times over the past 2 years. Just like she's wiped down these same cracked vinyl booths, served coffee in these same chipped mugs, and smiled through the exhaustion that's become her constant companion. Her hands move on autopilot, spraying down the last table with cleaner that smells like fake lemons and broken promises. The clock above the kitchen reads 11:37 p.m., which means she's been on her feet for 13 hours straight. Her lower back screams in protest with every movement, and there's a blister on her right heel that's been bleeding into her sock since hour 9. "You heading out, honey?" Rose calls from behind the counter, her weathered face creased with concern. The diner's owner has been watching Mia run herself into the ground for months now, and the worry in her voice is genuine. "Yeah, just finishing up." Mia forces brightness into her tone that she doesn't feel. "Thanks for letting me pick up Jenny's shift. You picked up 3 shifts this week already." Rose sets down the coffee pot she's been cleaning with more force than necessary. "When's the last time you slept more than 4 hours?" Mia doesn't answer because they both know the truth. Sleep is a luxury she can't afford, not when rent is 12 days overdue, and Sophia's asthma medication ran out yesterday morning. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I love hearing from you. She empties her apron pockets onto the counter, counting with fingers that tremble slightly from fatigue. Crumpled singles, quarters, dimes, a few nickels. The businessman from table 4 left a $20 bill tucked under his coffee cup with a kind smile that had made her throat tight. Total, $37.62. Not enough. It's never enough. The pharmacy wants $45 for Sophia's inhaler refill. Their landlord, Mr. Kozlov, has stopped accepting promises and started making threats. And somewhere out there in Chicago's unforgiving night, her ex-boyfriend Marcus is still calling, still demanding she pay back money she never borrowed, money he'd spent gambling away their future before she'd found the courage to leave. "Mia." Rose's voice cuts through her spiraling thoughts. "Take this." She holds out 2 $20 bills. "Rose, no. I can't. You can and you will." Rose presses the money into Mia's palm, closing her fingers around it. "Consider it an advance on next week's shifts. That baby of yours needs her medicine." Tears prick at Mia's eyes, hot and unwelcome. She's cried enough in the past year to fill Lake Michigan. "I'll pay you back." "I know you will, sweetheart. Now get home to Sophia before Mrs. Park charges you overtime for babysitting." The February wind hits like a physical assault the moment Mia steps outside. Chicago winters are brutal, but this year feels especially cruel, as if the city itself has decided to test exactly how much she can endure. She pulls her thin coat tighter, the same coat she's worn for 5 years, with its broken zipper and missing button, and starts the 8-block walk to her apartment in Chinatown. The streets are mostly empty, just the occasional taxi splashing through slush and the distant wail of sirens providing the city's nighttime soundtrack. Mia keeps her head down, counting her steps the way Sophia counts sheep when she can't sleep. 1 foot in front of the other. Just keep moving. Just keep surviving. She's 3 blocks from home when she sees him. The man sits huddled in the recessed doorway of a closed dry cleaner, and something about the scene makes Mia slow her pace. She's walked this route 5 nights a week for 2 years and never seen anyone there before. The streetlight casts strange shadows across his form, making it hard to see clearly, but she can make out enough. He's older than she first thought. Maybe 60, maybe older, with silver gray hair that's too neat for someone living on the streets. His clothes are dark and layered, a wool overcoat that, despite being rumpled, still holds the shape of quality tailoring. His hands, visible where they grip the coat closed, are clean. Not the grime-encrusted hands of someone who's been rough for weeks. There's something odd about the whole picture, something that doesn't quite fit, but Mia's too tired to analyze it. What she sees is someone alone in the cold, and the temperature has dropped into the teens. She should keep walking. She needs every dollar. Sophia needs every dollar, but her feet have already stopped moving. "Excuse me," she hears herself say. "Are you okay?" The man looks up, and Mia's breath catches. His eyes are sharp, intensely focused, the kind of eyes that miss nothing. They're a pale gray that almost seems to glow in the dim light, and they study her with an assessment that feels weighted, significant. "Cold night," he says simply. His voice is rough but educated, each word precisely chosen. There's no slur of alcohol, no confusion of drugs, just careful, deliberate speech. When did you last eat? The question comes automatically. Mia's mother had raised her to notice people others overlooked, to offer help when she had nothing to give. It's a lesson that's cost her dearly, but she's never been able to unlearn it. The man tilts his head slightly, and something that might be surprise flickers across his weathered face. It's been a while. Mia's hand goes to her pocket, feeling the shape of bills and coins. $77.62, barely enough for Sophia's medicine and absolutely nothing left over. She thinks about her daughter's labored breathing that morning, the wheeze that had started in her chest when she laughed too hard at breakfast. She thinks about Mr. Kozlov's threats to call child services if she can't pay rent by the end of the week. She thinks about her mother, who would have stopped without hesitation. Here. Mia pulls out the $20 bill Rose had given her and presses it into the man's cold hand. Please, get yourself something hot to eat, and maybe find a shelter tonight. The temperature's supposed to drop below zero. The man stares at the money in his palm like he's never seen cash before. Then his eyes lift to her face, and the intensity in that gaze makes her want to step back. There's nothing simple about the way he's looking at her. It's assessment and calculation, and something else she can't name. Preparing and narrating this type of story took us long efforts and hard work. So, if you are enjoying the story, please consider subscribing to our channel. You're certain about this? He asks, and there's weight in the question that seems disproportionate to $20. I'm sure. Mia's voice wavers only slightly. She can figure out Sophia's medicine somehow. She always does. Everyone needs help sometimes. The man's fingers close around the bill. What's your name? She should lie. Every instinct screams at her to lie, but exhaustion has stripped away her filters. Mia Chen. He nods slowly, as if committing it to memory. And why aren't you afraid of me, Mia Chen? The question catches her off guard. Should I be? Most people would be. His smile is slight, barely there. A strange man in a dark doorway. You're either very brave or very foolish. Neither, Mia says honestly. Just tired, and I don't think you're dangerous. No? Something like amusement flickers in those pale eyes. What makes you so sure? Your hands are clean, your coat is expensive, even though it's dirty, and you speak like someone who's educated. She shrugs, suddenly self-conscious. You're not really homeless, are you? You're just testing something. The man's eyebrows rise fractionally. Perceptive. I'm a waitress. Reading people is survival. Mia takes a step back, suddenly eager to end this strange encounter. I should go. My daughter's waiting. Your daughter. The man's expression softens almost imperceptibly. How old? 5. And her babysitter charges by the half hour. Mia manages a small smile. Take care of yourself, okay? Whoever you really are. She turns to leave, but his voice stops her. Mia. When she looks back, he's studying her with an expression she can't decipher. Thank you, for your kindness. And your honesty. You're welcome. She hurries away, feeling his eyes on her back the entire block until she turns the corner. What Mia doesn't see is the man pulling out a phone the moment she's out of sight. She doesn't see him dial a number he knows by heart, or hear the quiet conversation that follows. It's Salvatore, he says into the phone. I found her. A pause. No, sir. She's exactly what you hoped. Better even. Another pause, longer this time. She gave me $20, the last of her cash, from what I could tell. And she saw right through the disguise. His chuckle is low and genuine. You were right about this one, Mr. Dante. She's special. One more pause, and then, yes, sir. I'll make the arrangements for tomorrow. You're going to want to meet her yourself. Salvatore ends the call and looks down at the $20 bill in his hand. In 43 years working for the Dante family, he's never been wrong about people. It's what makes him valuable, what's kept him alive in a world where mistakes are measured in body counts. And Mia Chen, exhausted waitress and single mother who just gave her last $20 to a stranger, is exactly what Antonio Dante has been searching for. Someone real, someone kind, someone who sees people instead of opportunities. Salvatore tucks the 20 carefully into his pocket. He'll keep it, he thinks. A reminder that goodness still exists in the dark corners of Chicago. Tomorrow, everything changes for Mia Chen. She just doesn't know it yet. The apartment is blessedly warm when Mia finally climbs the 3 flights of stairs, each step a small agony on her aching feet. She can hear the television through the door, Mrs. Park always watches Korean dramas while babysitting, and the sound of Sophia's bright laughter cuts through her exhaustion like sunlight. Mama! Sophia barrels into her the moment Mia opens the door, all wild dark curls and boundless energy despite the late hour. At 5 years old, her daughter still believes the world is magical, still sees wonder in everything. Mia would do anything to keep that innocence intact. Hey baby. Mia scoops her up, ignoring the protest from her back. Sophia smells like the lavender soap Mrs. Park uses and the orange she must have eaten for a snack. Were you good for Mrs. Park? Very good, Mrs. Park confirms, gathering her knitting into a canvas bag. The elderly Korean woman has lived down the hall for 30 years and charges half what anyone else would for babysitting. It's charity disguised as business, and Mia loves her for it. She ate her dinner, did her homework, only 2 puffs needed on the inhaler today. Only 2. Mia's chest tightens. Sophia's inhaler has maybe 3 puffs left. 4 if they're lucky. Thank you, Mrs. Park. Mia hands over $15, $5 an hour for 3 hours, when they both know Sophia arrived at 6 p.m. Mrs. Park takes the money without comment, both of them participating in the polite fiction. After Mrs. Park leaves, Mia goes through their nighttime routine on autopilot. Bath time, toothbrushing, pajamas, story time. Sophia chooses the paper bag princess again because she loves the dragon, and Mia reads with Sophia's warm weight against her side, breathing in the clean smell of her daughter's hair. Mama? Sophia's voice is sleepy as Mia tucks her into the bed they share in their studio apartment's only sleeping area. Mrs. Park said we're moving soon. To a bigger place with a princess room for me. Mia's throat closes. Mrs. Park's kind lie, probably to stop Sophia from worrying when she'd overheard Mr. Kozlov's shouting yesterday. Maybe someday, baby. I don't need a princess room. Sophia's dark eyes, so much like Mia's own, are serious. I just need you. You've got me. Mia whispers, kissing her forehead. Always. Now sleep. She waits until Sophia's breathing evens out, then moves to their tiny kitchen area. $45 for the inhaler. Mr. Kozlov wants $850 by Friday, 3 days away. She has $57.62 after paying Mrs. Park. The math doesn't work. It never works. Her phone buzzes on the counter. Marcus. Again. You think you can just ignore me? You owe me $5K. Pay up or I'll come collect another way. Mia deletes the text without responding, her hands shaking. Marcus had been charming once, before the gambling started, before the drinking, before the night she'd grabbed Sophia and run with nothing but the clothes on their backs. He'd been verbally abusive, never physically violent, but Mia had seen the trajectory. She'd gotten out before it escalated. Now he claims she owes him money he'd lent her, money she'd never seen. Money he'd lost at underground poker games he'd never admitted to attending. And somehow, he always knows where to find her, no matter how many times she moves. Another text comes through. Different number. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. Car will pick you up outside your building. Someone wants to meet you. Don't be afraid. Mia stares at the screen, ice sliding down her spine. Wrong number? Prank? She almost deletes it, but something makes her respond. Who is this? The reply comes immediately. A friend. The man you helped tonight wants to repay your kindness. Just trust us. She should block the number, should ignore it completely. Instead, she finds herself thinking about the homeless man's sharp eyes, his clean hands, the way he'd spoken like every word mattered. You're either very brave or very foolish. Maybe she's both. Mia sets the phone down and looks around their tiny apartment. Water stains on the ceiling, a window that won't fully close, a refrigerator that makes ominous grinding sounds. This is what she's built for Sophia's safety, yes, but also endless struggle, constant fear. When did survival stop being enough? She's almost asleep, curled around Sophia in their bed, when her phone buzzes one last time. Your daughter's medication will be at Lincoln Pharmacy by 8 a.m. Fully paid. This is just the beginning. Mia stares at the screen until her vision blurs. Someone knows about Sophia. Someone knows about the medication. Someone is watching her closely enough to know exactly what she needs. Terror and hope war in her chest, both emotions so sharp she can barely breathe. Tomorrow, she decides. Tomorrow she'll figure out what this means. Tonight, she just holds her daughter close and lets exhaustion finally claim her. In a penthouse across the city, Antonio Dante stands at floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Chicago's glittering skyline. At 42, he's built an empire on the ruins of his father's smaller kingdom, expanding legitimate businesses while maintaining the underground operations that fund everything. He's feared, respected, and utterly alone in ways that money can't fix. You're certain? He asks Salvatore, who stands in the shadows behind him. Completely. Salvatore's voice carries absolute conviction. She's genuine, struggling, afraid, exhausted, but still chose kindness, still saw through the test. And she's got a 5-year-old daughter with asthma. Antonio's jaw tightens. A child. That changes things. Complicates the simple fascination that's been building for weeks, since he first noticed the waitress who smiled through obvious pain, who was patient with difficult customers, who split her lunch with the homeless woman who slept in the alley behind the diner. The ex-boyfriend? Antonio asks. Marcus Webb, small-time gambler, big-time loser, owes money all over Chicago, including 30 grand to the Castellano family. Salvatore pauses. He's been threatening her. Claims she owes him 5,000. Antonio's fingers curl into a fist against the cold glass. She doesn't. No, sir. I checked. He's trying to extort her to pay his debts. And the Castellanos? Don't know about her yet, but when Webb can't pay, they'll start looking at his connections. Her name will come up. Which means Mia Chen is already in danger and doesn't even know it. Already a target in a war she doesn't understand, living on borrowed time until the moment Marcus Webb's debts become her problem. Bring her tomorrow, Antonio says quietly. But do it gently. She's been afraid long enough. Yes, sir. Salvatore moves toward the door, then pauses. Sir, she's not like the others. She's not going to be impressed by money or power. I know. Antonio's reflection in the glass shows a slight smile, the first genuine expression he's worn in weeks. That's exactly why she interests me. After Salvatore leaves, Antonio remains at the window, thinking about kind eyes and worn-out shoes, about a woman who gave away money she desperately needed because someone else needed it more. He's built his empire on understanding human nature, on knowing exactly how to exploit weakness and reward loyalty. But Mia Chen's kindness isn't weakness. It's something rarer, something he thought had been beaten out of the world years ago. Integrity. Real, unshakable integrity. And God help him. He wants it. Wants her. Wants to know if that goodness can survive contact with his darkness, or if he'll ruin her the way he ruins everything he touches. Tomorrow, he'll find out. Tomorrow, Mia Chen walks into his world, and neither of them will ever be the same. The black Mercedes pulls up outside Mia's building at exactly 10 a.m. So silent and sleek it looks like it belongs in a different city entirely. Mia watches from her third-floor window, Sophia's hand clutched in hers, every instinct screaming that this is a mistake. Pretty car, Sophia breathes, pressing her nose against the glass. Pretty and dangerous, Mia thinks. The kind of car that costs more than 3 years of her rent. Her phone buzzes. We're here. Salvatore will escort you. Sophia is welcome to come. We have activities prepared for her. They know her daughter's name. They've already planned for her presence. This level of attention should terrify her, and it does, but there's something else underneath. The inhaler had been waiting at the pharmacy this morning, exactly as promised, paid in full, along with a 3-month supply refill. The pharmacist had looked at her with new respect, as if the prescription itself had elevated her status. Mama, are we going somewhere? Sophia's voice is bright with excitement. She's wearing her best outfit leggings with only one small hole in a sweater Mia found at Goodwill last month. Maybe. Mia crouches down to Sophia's eye level. But if Mama says we need to leave, we leave immediately. Okay? No questions, no arguments. Sophia's dark eyes grow serious. At 5, she already understands that sometimes Mama's scared voice means danger. Okay. They descend the stairs together, Mia's heart pounding with each step. The driver who emerges from the Mercedes is the man from last night, Salvatore. Except now he's clean-shaven, wearing an immaculate charcoal suit, looking nothing like the homeless man who'd tested her kindness. Miss Chen. He opens the rear door with practiced grace. Thank you for trusting us. I haven't decided if I trust you yet, Mia says honestly, holding Sophia close. Who exactly wants to meet me? Someone who appreciates what you did last night. Someone who'd like to help you, if you'll let him. Salvatore's pale eyes are kind, almost grandfatherly. I promise you, no harm will come, to you or your daughter, on my life. There's weight in that promise, the kind of weight that makes Mia believe he means it literally. She thinks about Sophia's medication, about the texts that knew exactly what they needed, about the mathematics of survival that never add up. 1 hour, she says finally. Then I need to get to work. Of course. Salvatore's smile is approving. Though I think you'll find Mr. Dante's offer compelling enough to be late. Mr. Dante. The name settles in Mia's stomach like a stone. She knows that name. Everyone in Chicago knows that name. Whispered in diners and shouted in courtrooms. A legend built on shadows and rumors and very real power. Antonio Dante, the man who owns half of Chicago's restaurants, all of its major shipping operations, and allegedly controls operations that newspapers only hint at in carefully worded articles. The man prosecutors have tried to indict 17 times without success. The man whose name makes seasoned cops nervous. Mia's legs go weak. I gave $20 to a homeless man. You gave kindness to someone who'd forgotten it existed. Salvatore corrects gently. That's worth considerably more. The drive through Chicago passes in a blur of expensive neighborhoods and increasingly tall buildings. Sophia chatters excitedly about everything she sees, her previous wariness forgotten in the thrill of riding in such a fancy car. Mia keeps her hand on her daughter's knee, anchoring herself in that small, warm presence. They pull up to a building in the Gold Coast that Mia has walked past 100 times but never really seen. Black glass and chrome. Doormen in uniforms that probably cost more than her monthly rent. The kind of place where people like her clean toilets and take out trash but never actually live. The penthouse elevator requires a key card. Of course it does. Mr. Dante is looking forward to meeting you, Salvatore says as they rise. He asks that you speak freely. Honesty is valued above all, else in his presence. And if I want to leave? Then you leave. No one will stop you. Salvatore's expression is sincere, but I hope you'll hear what he has to say first. The elevator opens directly into the penthouse, and Mia's breath catches despite herself. Floor-to-ceiling windows showcase Chicago's skyline like a painting. The space is modern but warm, dark wood floors, cream-colored furniture, original artwork that probably costs more than her entire life savings. And everywhere, small details that speak of careful thought. Fresh flowers in crystal vases, books that look actually read, photographs of people who seem genuinely happy. Mama, look! Sophia points at an aquarium built into one wall, tropical fish gliding through crystal-clear water in bursts of electric blue and sunset orange. Beautiful, isn't it? The voice comes from behind them, deep and measured, and Mia turns to face Antonio Dante for the first time. He's not what she expected. The newspapers always show him in expensive suits at charity galas, looking polished and untouchable. But right now, he's wearing dark jeans and a simple black sweater, barefoot on his own floors, holding a coffee mug that says, "World's Most Average Boss" in faded letters. He's handsome in a way that makes her breath catch sharp cheekbones, dark hair touched with gray at the temples, eyes so dark they're nearly black. But it's not his looks that make her stare. It's the intensity in his gaze, the way he looks at her like she's a puzzle he's determined to solve. Mia Chen. He sets down his coffee and approaches slowly, hands visible, movements careful, like someone approaching a skittish animal. Thank you for coming. You didn't give me much choice. Mia lifts her chin, refusing to be intimidated despite every cell screaming at her to run. Paying for my daughter's medication, sending a car, knowing where I live, that's not a request. Mr. Dante, that's coercion. Something flashes in his eyes. Surprise, maybe. Or respect. You're right. And I apologize. I'm not used to approaching situations with subtlety. His gaze drops to Sophia, who's still entranced by the fish tank. Would your daughter like to see more? My assistant has a playroom set up one floor down. Games, art supplies, a movie theater, fully supervised. I stay with Mama, Sophia says immediately, grabbing Mia's hand tighter. Antonio's expression softens in a way that transforms his entire face. He crouches down to Sophia's level, maintaining a respectful distance. That's very smart. Never leave your mother's side when you're somewhere new. How about this? There's a woman named Maria who works for me. She's a grandmother, and she makes the best hot chocolate in Chicago. Would you like some while your mama and I talk? We'll be right here where you can see us the whole time. Sophia looks up at Mia, asking permission without words. It's okay, baby, Mia says, though her heart races. But you stay where I can see you. A woman appears as if summoned Maria, presumably, with kind eyes and flour still dusting her apron. She takes Sophia's hand gently, leading her to a kitchen area visible from the main room, and within moments, Sophia's laughing at something Maria says, her earlier nervousness forgotten. You're good with children, Mia observes, watching Antonio closely. I like people who say what they mean. He gestures to the sofa. Please, sit. This will take a while to explain. Mia sits on the edge of the cushion, ready to bolt. Antonio takes the chair across from her, maintaining distance, letting her control the space between them. 3 weeks ago, he begins, my mother died. Whatever Mia expected, it wasn't that. I'm sorry. Thank you. His fingers trace the rim of his coffee mug, the first nervous gesture she's seen from him. She was the only person in my life who saw me as something other than what I've become. The only one who believed I could still be good. He looks up, and the pain in his eyes is raw, unguarded. At her funeral, she left me a letter. It said she was worried I'd forgotten how to recognize genuine kindness, that I'd surrounded myself with people who only wanted something from me, who saw me as a means to an end. So you had your assistant pretend to be homeless to test strangers? Mia's voice comes sharper than intended. That's manipulative. It is, Antonio agrees without defensiveness. But I needed to know if people like you still existed. People who give when they have nothing. Who see someone in need and help without calculating the return. He leans forward, intensity radiating from him. You gave Salvatore $20 last night, the last of your cash, if I understand correctly. Money you needed for your daughter's medication. If you're hooked on this story, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Your support means everything and helps me bring you more emotional stories like this one. You investigated me. The words taste bitter. I protect myself by knowing everything. It's how I've survived this long. Antonio's jaw tightens. But what I learned about you, Mia, it's not just kindness. It's strength. You left Marcus Webb a year ago when things got dangerous. You work 60-hour weeks to support your daughter alone. You've moved 4 times in 12 months to stay ahead of him, and you've never asked anyone for help. Mia's hands curl into fists. You have no right. Marcus owes $30,000 to the Castellano family. Antonio's words cut through her protest like a blade. He's 3 weeks past his deadline. They're going to start collecting soon, and when they do, they'll look at everyone connected to him. His ex-girlfriend and her daughter will look like convenient leverage. Mia grips the sofa arm, trying to process what he's saying. The Castellanos? One of Chicago's major crime families. Not as powerful as mine, but vicious in ways I've never been. Antonio's voice is clinical, detached. They'll use Sophia to make Marcus pay, or they'll sell you both to settle his debt. Either way, you're already in danger, and you don't even know it. This isn't real. Mia stands abruptly, panic clawing up her throat. I need to leave. Sophia is safer here than anywhere else in Chicago right now. Antonio rises too, but doesn't approach. I'm not telling you this to scare you, Mia. I'm telling you because you deserve the truth. And because I can protect you. Both of you. Why would you do that? The question comes out as a whisper. You don't know me. Because last night, you reminded me that goodness still exists. Antonio's dark eyes hold hers with unsettling intensity. Because my mother's last wish was for me to find something real in a world built on lies. And because... He stops, jaw working as if wrestling with the words. Because the moment I saw you through Salvatore's eyes, something in me recognized something in you. That's not a reason. That's obsession? Antonio's smile is self-deprecating. Maybe, probably, but it doesn't change the facts. You're in danger. I can eliminate that danger. In exchange, I'm asking you to give me something my money can't buy. Mia's heart pounds so hard she can feel it in her throat. What? Your time, your honesty, your presence. He moves closer, and she can smell expensive cologne mixed with coffee. Stay here where you're safe. Let me handle Marcus and the Castellanos. Let me show you a life where you don't have to count pennies and work yourself to death. And in return, just be yourself. Be the woman who gives away her last $20. Be real in a world where everyone around me performs. You want to own me. Mia's voice shakes with anger and something else. Something that feels dangerously close to temptation. I want to protect you. There's a difference. Antonio's hand lifts as if to touch her face, then falls back. But I won't lie, I want. More than that, too. I want to know you. Understand what makes someone like you exist in a city like this. And maybe, his voice drops, becomes vulnerable. Maybe learn how to be good again by watching you. I'm not good, Mia says desperately. I'm just tired and scared and doing whatever it takes to keep my daughter alive. That's not virtue, Mr. Dante. That's survival. It's both. He steps back, giving her space. I'm not asking for an answer right now. Stay for lunch. Let Sophia enjoy Maria's cooking. Think about what I've said. And tonight, I'll have Salvatore drive you home, and you can decide what happens next. And if I say no, Then I'll still protect you from the Castellanos because that's the right thing to do. But you'll go back to your life, and I'll go back to mine, and we'll both wonder what might have been different." Mia looks across the room where Sophia sits at the kitchen island, and chocolate mustache on her face, laughing at something Maria's saying. Her daughter looks happy in a way Mia hasn't seen in months. Relaxed. Safe. When was the last time Sophia looked like that? When was the last time Mia felt safe? "Just lunch," she says finally. "Then I need time to think." Antonio's smile is genuine, transforming his entire face. "Just lunch. Thank you, Mia. Lunch is not just lunch. It's an experience carefully orchestrated to seduce without overwhelming." Maria serves Italian food that tastes like love-made edible homemade pasta, fresh bread, a tomato sauce that makes Mia want to cry. Sophia eats more than Mia's seen her eat in weeks, chattering between bites about the fish and the view and the way the bread melts in your mouth. Antonio watches them with an expression Mia can't quite read. There's hunger in his eyes, but not the predatory kind. It's longing, as if he's starving for exactly this, the simple domesticity of a meal shared with genuine warmth. "Tell me about Sophia," he says when Maria clears their plates. "What does she love? What makes her laugh?" It's a trap, Mia knows. The more he learns about them, the more power he has. But Sophia's already answering, her 5-year-old filter non-existent. "I love dragons and purple and Mama's pancakes, even though they're always burned on one side. And I'm gonna be a veterinarian when I grow up and save all the animals. And I have asthma, but Mama says it makes me special, not broken. Your Mama is very wise." Antonio's voice is soft. "My nephew has asthma too. He's 8 now, and he plays soccer. The asthma used to scare him, but he learned it's just part of who he is." "Really?" Sophia's eyes go wide. "He's not scared anymore?" Not once he learned to understand it, and had the right medication, and had people who loved him supporting him. Antonio looks at Mia, and the message in his eyes is clear. I can give her this. Stability, medicine, a life without fear. After lunch, Maria takes Sophia to the playroom, actually 1 floor down in a separate apartment that's been converted into what looks like a children's paradise. Sophia's protests die the moment she sees the art supplies, and Mia finds herself alone with Antonio on his terrace despite the February cold. "Tell me about Marcus," Antonio says without preamble. The truth, not the police report version. Mia wraps her arms around herself, the borrowed coat Antonio gave her smelling like cedar and safety. "We met 4 years ago. He was charming, attentive, everything I thought I wanted. I got pregnant 3 months in, and he proposed the day I told him. Said he'd take care of us, but he didn't. He tried. At first, the memories taste bitter, but he couldn't hold a job. Started gambling to make up the difference. Said he had a system, that we'd be rich soon. Then Sophia was born, and she was perfect. But Marcus started staying out all night, coming home with empty pockets and excuses. When did it turn bad? When Sophia was 18 months old. I found the credit card statements, 15,000, in debt, all from casinos and gambling sites. When I confronted him, he said it was my fault for not being supportive, that I was killing his confidence. Mia's voice drops. He never hit me, never raised his hand. But his words, they carved pieces out of me until I didn't recognize myself anymore. How did you leave? He went to a poker game one night. I packed 2 bags and walked out with Sophia on my hip. We stayed in a shelter for a month. Then I got the job at Rose's and found our apartment. She turns to face Antonio. I rebuilt my life from nothing, Mr. Dante. I'm proud of that. Even if it's small and hard, it's mine. And Marcus? Kept calling, kept threatening, said I ruined him, that I owed him for everything he'd given us. The threats got worse after Sophia turned 4. Sometimes I think he's following us, but I can never prove it. Her hands shake. I've moved 4 times, and he always finds us. Always. Antonio's jaw clenches, fury barely controlled beneath his calm exterior. He's been tracking your phone. Amateur surveillance, but effective enough. We found the software 3 days ago when I had my people do a deep dive. Horror floods through Mia. He's been watching, not anymore. My tech team wiped your phone and gave you a clean device. It's in your purse. Same number, same contacts, no tracking software. Antonio moves closer, and his presence is overwhelming, protective, dangerous. Marcus Webb will never touch you again. Never call you, never threaten you, never exist in your world. I promise you that. How can you promise? Because men like Marcus understand one language: power. And I have more power in my left hand than he'll accumulate in his entire pathetic life. Antonio's voice is cold. Absolute. By tomorrow, he'll know that you're under my protection. That touching you means war with the Dante family. He'll run so far you'll forget he ever existed. And the Castellanos? Already handled. I called in a favor. Marcus's debt is forgiven in exchange for a service. He'll provide them information about small-time gambling operations in Pilsen. He'll work it off without ever knowing you were the reason for the deal. Mia stares at him, trying to comprehend the casual way he's rearranged her entire world. You did all this. Why? Because you gave me $20. Antonio's smile is slight. And because the moment Salvatore described you, I knew I'd never meet anyone like you again. And because, he stops, jaw working. Because I'm tired of being surrounded by people who want something from me. I want someone who sees me as just a man. Someone real. I can't be what you need, Mia whispers. I'm broken and tired, and I don't know how to exist in your world. You're not broken. You're bent under a weight that was never yours to carry. Antonio's hand finally touches her face, thumb brushing her cheekbone with devastating gentleness. Let me carry some of it, Mia. Let me show you what life looks like when you're not drowning. She should say no, should run, should protect Sophia from the danger that clings to this man like cologne. But when was the last time someone offered to carry her burden? When did survival become so exhausting that even breathing feels hard? 1 week, she hears herself say. I'll stay 1 week. Then I decide. Antonio's smile is slow, victorious, and entirely genuine. 1 week. That's all I need. The guest suite Antonio provides is larger than Mia's entire apartment. King bed with Egyptian cotton sheets. A separate room for Sophia with a bed shaped like a castle. A bathroom with heated floors and a tub deep enough to swim in. There are clothes in the closet in exactly Mia's size. Casual and expensive, soft fabrics that feel like water against her skin. How did you know my size? She asks Salvatore, who's showing them around with grandfatherly pride. Mr. Dante is thorough. Salvatore's smile is gentle. He wants you to be comfortable. If anything is wrong, just tell Maria or myself. We'll fix it. That night, after Sophia falls asleep in her castle bed, Mia stands at the floor-to-ceiling windows and looks out at Chicago glittering below. From this height, the city looks clean, beautiful, nothing like the streets she walks every night smelling of exhaust and desperation. A knock at her door. Antonio, still in his jeans and sweater, holding 2 mugs. Couldn't sleep? He asks. Strange bed. Mia accepts the hot chocolate he offers. Everything here is strange. Beautiful but strange. You'll get used to it. He leans against the doorframe, not entering her space. Or you won't, and you'll tell me to fuck off, and that will be fine too. Mia laughs despite herself. You don't seem like the type who gets told to fuck off. You'd be surprised. My sister does it regularly. His expression softens. She'd like you, actually, Elena. She runs the legitimate side of the business, the restaurants, the real estate. She'll be here for dinner tomorrow if you're willing to meet her. Why do you care if I meet your family? Because if you stay, you'll become part of it. Antonio's voice carries weight. I don't do casual, Mia. I don't half commit. If you choose this, you're choosing all of it, my family, my world, everything I am. That's insane. You barely know me. I know enough. He sets down his mug, dark eyes holding hers. I know you're brave and kind and stronger than you think. I know you love your daughter more than your own life. I know you see people as people, not as assets. That's more than most people learn in a lifetime. And what do you want from me, Antonio? His name feels strange on her tongue, intimate. Really? Honestly? He steps closer, and the air between them crackles. Everything. Your trust, your time, your truth. I want to watch you smile without exhaustion behind it. I want Sophia to grow up safe and happy. I want to come home to something real instead of an empty penthouse. His voice drops. And yes, eventually, I want you in my bed. But that's last on the list, because everything else matters more. Mia's breath catches. You don't know what you're asking. Then show me. Teach me. Stay long enough to let me prove I'm worth the risk. Antonio lifts her free hand, brings it to his lips. The kiss against her knuckles is soft, reverent. 1 week, Mia, that's all I'm asking. She should say no, should protect her heart, should remember that men like Antonio Dante don't change, don't soften, don't become safe. But his eyes hold something she hasn't seen in so long. Hope. Real, vulnerable hope that maybe, just maybe, Kindness can survive darkness. 1 week, she whispers. But no promises after that. No promises. Antonio's smile is worth the risk all by itself. Just possibilities. He leaves her there with lukewarm hot chocolate and a heart that's beating too fast. Through her door, Mia can hear Sophia sleeping peacefully, her breathing steady and clear thanks to medication they no longer have to ration. 1 week, she thinks. What's the worst that could happen? But in the back of her mind, a small voice whispers the truth. The worst thing isn't falling for Antonio Dante. It's realizing she already has. Day 3 in Antonio's penthouse, and Mia wakes to screaming. She's out of bed before full consciousness hits, running toward Sophia's room with her heart in her throat. But Sophia's room is empty, the castle bed undisturbed, and the screaming is coming from downstairs. Mia runs barefoot down the stairs in the pajamas. Antonio provided silk that costs more than her monthly rent and skids to a halt in the living room. Antonio stands in the center of the space, his back to her, facing 3 men she doesn't recognize. One has Marcus by the collar, holding him off the ground like he weighs nothing. Marcus's face is bloody, his eye already swelling shut, and terror makes him look even smaller than he is. Please, Marcus sobs. I didn't know she was. Yours. She's not mine. She's her own. Antonio's voice is cold, lethal. But she's under my protection, which means touching her is touching me. Did you really think I wouldn't find out you've been calling? Threatening? You wanted money you never earned from a woman you never deserved. Antonio nods to the man holding Marcus. Show him what happens when you threaten what's mine. The sound of bones breaking is unmistakable. Marcus screams, and Mia's hands fly to her mouth, horror and satisfaction warring in her chest. This is wrong, violence is always wrong, but God, she's so tired of being afraid. Stop! The word tears from her throat before she can think. Antonio, stop! Everyone freezes. Antonio turns, and the fury in his eyes makes her step back instinctively. This is the man newspapers write about, the one prosecutors build cases around. This is danger personified. But then his eyes really focus on her, and the fury drains away, replaced by concern. Mia, you shouldn't be seeing this. He broke into your building? She wraps her arms around herself, trying to stop shaking. He was waiting outside, planning to follow you when you left. Antonio moves toward her slowly, hands visible, letting her control the distance. My security team picked him up before he could get close. Mia looks at Marcus, pathetic, broken Marcus, who'd spent a year making her feel small. And she feels nothing. No sympathy, no lingering love, just a vast emptiness where fear used to live. Make him leave Chicago, she says quietly. I don't care where he goes. Just make him gone. Antonio's smile is proud, possessive. Consider it done. He nods to his men, who drag Marcus toward the private elevator. Marcus doesn't even struggle anymore, just sobs about mercy and second chances like they're his to claim. When they're gone, Mia sinks onto the sofa, adrenaline making her limbs weak. Antonio sits beside her, not touching, just present and waits. Is this to what your life is always like? She asks finally. Violence and threats and breaking bones? Preparing and narrating this type of story took us long efforts and hard work. So if you are enjoying the story, please consider subscribing to our channel. Sometimes. He doesn't lie, doesn't soften it. I've built an empire on the edge of law. That means dealing with people who only respect force. But I'm not cruel without reason, Mia. Every act of violence serves a purpose. And what was the purpose here? Making sure every piece of human garbage in Chicago knows that you're off limits, that Sophia is sacred, that threatening you means death. His jaw clenches. I won't apologize for that. I won't apologize for protecting what matters. Mia turns to look at him, really look. This man who pays for inhalers and breaks bones with equal efficiency, who drinks coffee from a joke mug but commands loyalty with a single word, who looks at her like she's precious but shows her the darkness anyway. Show me, she says suddenly. All of it. Not just the penthouse and the expensive clothes and Maria's cooking. Show me what you really are. The parts you think will scare me away. Antonio's eyes widen slightly. Mia. No. You asked for honesty. This is me being honest. I can't choose this life if I don't understand it. So show me. Tonight. For a long moment, Antonio just studies her face, looking for cracks, for fear. Whatever he sees makes him nod slowly. Tonight, he agrees. I'll show you everything. And tomorrow, you decide if you can live with it. That night, Mia leaves Sofia with Maria, who's already become Sofia's favorite person after just 3 days, and follows Antonio to the private elevator. He's changed into a dark suit that makes him look even more dangerous. All sharp lines and controlled power. "Where are we going?" she asks as they descend. "To a place where the real business happens." Antonio's hand rests lightly on her lower back, protective. The restaurant is legitimate. My sister manages it, but there's a private room where I meet with people who prefer discretion. The restaurant is in River North, elegant without being pretentious. Dante's, the sign reads in subtle gold lettering. Inside, the hostess greets Antonio with genuine warmth, and Mia notices how the staff moves with practiced efficiency, how every table is full despite it being a Tuesday night. "Elena runs this?" Mia asks, taking in the warm lighting, the exposed brick, the open kitchen where chefs work like artists. She runs 12 of them across the city. Started working hostess when she was 16, worked her way up to management, then convinced me to let her expand. Pride colors Antonio's voice. She's brilliant, ruthless in her own way, but legitimate. Everything she touches turns to gold. A woman emerges from the kitchen, late 30s, dark hair swept into a professional bun, wearing chef's whites with an authority that makes everyone step aside. She spots Antonio and her entire face transforms. "Tony?" She pulls him into a fierce hug, then steps back to study Mia with sharp, assessing eyes. "So this is the woman who's got my brother acting like a human being instead of a robot. Elena. This is Mia Chen. Mia, my sister Elena. The waitress who gave Salvatore $20. Elena's smile is warm, but her eyes miss nothing. "That was either the smartest or stupidest thing you've ever done." "I'm still deciding which," Mia admits honestly. Elena laughs, genuine and bright. "Oh, I like her. Come on, let's get you fed properly. Antonio's probably been boring you with business talk all week." They eat in the kitchen staff meal, Elena calls it, and Mia watches the easy banter between brother and sister. The way Antonio's shoulders relax around Elena, how he laughs at her terrible jokes. This is the man beneath the armor, she realizes. Someone who loves deeply, who protects fiercely, who just wants to be seen as more than his reputation. "He's intense," Elena says quietly when Antonio steps away to take a call. "But he's good, really good, in ways the world will never know because those acts don't make headlines." "Like what?" "Like the anonymous donations that keep women's shelters open, the college funds for kids whose parents work for him, the way he made Marcus Webb disappear without killing him, which took considerable restraint." Elena's eyes are knowing. He could have killed him. Would have been easier, cleaner, but he knew that would horrify you, so he found another way. Mia's throat tightens. He broke Marcus's arm. He gave him a warning and a one-way ticket to Seattle. That's mercy in Antonio's world. Elena leans closer. "My brother doesn't do anything halfway. If you stay, you're not a temporary distraction. You're family, permanent, protected, loved with an intensity that can be overwhelming. And if I leave, then he'll still protect you from a distance, and he'll never forgive himself for whatever he thinks drove you away." Elena's expression softens. "But I hope you stay. I haven't seen him this alive in years." Antonio returns, and something in his expression makes Mia's stomach clench. "What's wrong?" "Nothing you need to worry about tonight, just business." But his jaw is tight, his posture rigid. "You promised to show me everything," Mia reminds him. "That includes the things that worry you." Antonio exchanges a look with Elena, some silent sibling communication passing between them. Elena nods slightly. "The private room," Antonio says finally. "I have a meeting in 10 minutes. You can observe, but don't speak unless spoken to. And if things get heated, I stay quiet and let you handle it." Mia stands, smoothing down the designer dress Antonio had provided, simple, black, elegant, armor in fabric form. "I can do that." The private room is accessed through the wine cellar, down a set of stairs that feels deliberately hidden. It's smaller than Mia expected, just a round table with 6 chairs, dim lighting, and the kind of soundproofing that makes her ears pop. 3 men are already waiting. 2, she doesn't recognize middle-aged, expensive suits, the kind of men who look comfortable with violence. The 3rd makes her blood freeze. Victor Castellano. She knows his face from news reports about racketeering trials that always seem to collapse. Knows his reputation for cruelty that makes even other criminals nervous. "Antonio." Victor's smile doesn't reach his eyes. "I was surprised to receive your invitation. We don't usually do business together." "We're doing business now." Antonio gestures for Mia to sit in the corner. a silent shadow, then takes his own seat across from Victor. You have a debt outstanding with Marcus Webb, 30,000. Had. Webb paid his debt this morning. Wired the money from Seattle, I'm told. Victor's eyes slide to Mia, assessing. I'm curious how a degenerate gambler suddenly came into that kind of cash. I bought his debt, paid you what he owed plus 15% interest. You made money, Webb is gone, everyone wins. Except I didn't agree to that arrangement. Victor's voice hardens. Webb was useful. He had connections to small-time operations I wanted to infiltrate. You've eliminated that asset. I've provided you with better assets. Antonio slides a folder across the table. Complete financial records of every underground poker game in Pilsen. Names, locations, operators. Worth considerably more than Webb's information. Victor opens the folder, skims the contents. His eyebrows rise. This is comprehensive. It's everything. Take it. Forget Webb existed. And we never have this conversation again. And the woman? Victor's gaze locks on Mia. Webb's ex-girlfriend, correct? The one with the 5-year-old daughter? Every muscle in Mia's body goes tense. Don't react, she tells herself. Don't show fear. She's under my protection, Antonio says simply. Which means she's off limits, permanently. Protection implies ownership. Victor leans back, studying them both. That's unlike you, Antonio. You don't usually collect strays. She's not a stray. She's mine. The possessiveness in Antonio's voice should offend her, but instead it makes her feel safe, claimed. Touch her, threaten her, even think about her, and we have a problem. A problem? Victor laughs, but it's not friendly. You're declaring war over a waitress? I'm declaring boundaries, respect them, and we continue our peaceful coexistence. Cross them, and you'll discover exactly how unpeaceful I can be. Antonio's smile is cold, lethal. Are we clear? The tension in the room is suffocating. Mia watches Victor's men shift, hands moving toward weapons they haven't drawn yet. Watches Antonio remain perfectly still, a predator waiting for the slightest provocation. Finally, Victor nods. Crystal clear. The woman and her daughter are off limits. In exchange, you provide information like this. He taps the folder. Whenever I need leverage in Pilsen. Twice a year, maximum. And nothing that endangers civilians. Agreed. Victor stands, extending his hand. Pleasure doing business, Antonio. They shake, and Mia watches power flow between them. Old violence temporarily leashed by mutual benefit. Victor's men file out, and then it's just Antonio and Mia alone in the soundproofed room. That was... Mia's voice shakes. He wanted to hurt me. Us. He wanted to test my resolve. Antonio pulls her to her feet, hands gentle despite the fury still vibrating through him. Now he knows. Every criminal in Chicago will know by morning. You're protected. Sophia is protected. No one will touch you. Because you claimed me like property. Because I made you valuable enough that hurting you costs more than anyone's willing to pay. Antonio's thumb brushes her cheek. I know how it sounded. I know it's not romantic or politically correct. But in my world, this is how I keep you safe. Mia should be angry, should hate being reduced to a bargaining chip. But she spent a year being afraid, and now a man who commands monsters is telling her the nightmare is over. Take me home, she whispers. To the penthouse. I need to see Sophia. They drive in silence, Antonio's hand covering hers on the seat between them. Back at the penthouse, Sophia is asleep in Maria's lap, both of them covered by a blanket, a Disney movie playing on the massive television. She ate all her dinner, Maria whispers. Then told me 17 stories about dragons and wanted to make sure I knew you were the best mama in the world. Mia's eyes burn. She scoops Sophia up gently, carries her to the castle bed, tucks her in with trembling hands. Sophia murmurs something about princesses and drifts deeper into sleep, her breathing clear and easy. When Mia returns to the living room, Antonio is standing at the windows, hands in his pockets, shoulders tight. You saw it tonight, he says without turning. The ugliness beneath the surface. The way I use power to control outcomes. The way I claimed you like you're something I own. You also protected me. Mia moves to stand beside him. Both of them reflected in the dark glass. You paid Marcus's debt so the Castellanos wouldn't use us as leverage. You gave Victor information to make the deal fair. You didn't threaten violence, you just made it clear what would happen if lines were crossed. I'm still a criminal, Mia. I break laws, avoid taxes, use intimidation. The restaurants are legitimate. but they're built on a foundation of things that would disgust you if you knew the details. Then tell me the details. She turns to face him directly. You keep waiting for me to run, but I'm still here. I saw you break Marcus's arm and I felt relieved. I watched you negotiate with a man who terrifies me and I felt safe. Maybe that makes me as broken as you think you are. Antonio's laugh is bitter. You're not broken, you're just tired of being powerless. Then give me power. The words surprise her as much as they surprise him. You said I'm yours. Make it real. Make me part of this, not just something you protect from the shadows. Mia, I'm not naive. I know what I'm asking. But if I'm going to stay, if Sophia and I are going to build a life in your world, then I need to understand it. Really understand it. Not just the parts you think I can handle. Antonio stares at her for a long moment, something like awe in his dark eyes. You're sure? No, but I'm choosing it anyway. She lifts her chin. Teach me, Antonio. Show me how to be strong in your world instead of just surviving in mine. He pulls her close, and the kiss is different from the gentle ones before. This is claiming and surrender all at once, a promise sealed in heat and desperate need. When they break apart, both breathing hard, Antonio rests his forehead against hers. Tomorrow, he says roughly. Tomorrow I'll start teaching you, but tonight. His thumb traces her lower lip. Tonight, let me just hold you. Let me pretend we're normal people who met in normal ways. They end up on his sofa, Mia tucked against his chest, his arms wrapped around her like a shield. Neither speaks, both lost in thoughts about the line they've just crossed, the commitment they've just made. Mia is almost asleep when her phone buzzes, the new secure phone Antonio's team provided. She checks it sleepily, then goes rigid. What? Antonio's instantly alert, his body coiled for threat. The text is from an unknown number. Pretty girl, pretty daughter. Shame if something happened to them. Castellano doesn't forget. That son of a bitch, Antonio snarls, already reaching for his own phone. He agreed. He lied. Mia's voice is strangely calm despite the terror clawing at her chest. Or someone in his organization is acting without permission. Either way, they die. Antonio's making calls, his voice a whip of controlled fury. Salvatore. I have a problem. The Castellanos made a move. Yes. Now. Within minutes, the penthouse fills with armed men. Mia recognizes some from Antonio's meeting his inner circle, his most trusted soldiers. They speak in quick, clipped sentences about surveillance and retaliation and making examples. Mia. Antonio crouches in front of where she's sitting, his hands framing her face. I need you to take Sophia to the panic room. It's behind the bookshelf in your bedroom. Maria will show you. You'll be safe there until this is handled. What are you going to do? What I should have done the moment Victor looked at you. His smile is terrifying. I'm going to remind Chicago why they fear the Dante family. Antonio, I will burn down every Castellano operation in this city before I let them touch you. He kisses her hard. Quick. Trust me. Stay safe. And know that I'm coming back. Then he's gone. And Maria is pulling Mia toward the bedroom, where Sophia still sleeps peacefully, unaware that her mother's choice has just painted a target on both their backs. The panic room is small but well-stocked water, food, medical supplies, weapons Mia doesn't know how to use. Maria locks them in, and through the reinforced door, Mia can hear organized chaos. Voices shouting coordinates, cars peeling out, the machinery of war spinning up. She holds Sophia close, breathing in her daughter's shampoo-scented hair, and realizes the truth that's been building all week. She's not afraid anymore. Not of Antonio, not of his world, not of the violence that comes with choosing him. She's only afraid of losing this feeling, being protected, valued, seen as something precious, and she'll do whatever it takes to keep it, even if it means learning to be dangerous herself. The panic room smells like metal and fear. Mia sits on the narrow cot with Sophia's sleeping form draped across her lap, listening to muffled sounds from beyond the reinforced door. Footsteps, voices she doesn't recognize, the distant slam of the penthouse door. Maria sits across from her, rosary beads moving through her weathered fingers in a whispered rhythm of prayer. The older woman's presence is comforting, solid, but her eyes hold knowledge of nights like this, waiting while men she loves walk into violence. How long? Mia asks quietly, not wanting to wake Sophia. Could be an hour, could be until morning. Maria's voice is matter of fact. Antonio is thorough. He won't come back until the threat is eliminated completely. Has this happened before? Twice. Once when Elena was 17 and a rival family thought she'd make good leverage. Once when his nephew was born and someone tried to kidnap him from the hospital. Maria's smile is grim. Both families don't exist anymore. Antonio is patient, methodical, and absolutely merciless when it comes to protecting family. "I'm not family," Mia whispers. "You are to him. The moment you gave Salvatore that $20, you became family. Antonio just had to convince you of it." Maria sets down her rosary. "You're wondering if you made the right choice. Being here, letting him pull you into his world. Every minute. Good. The day you stop questioning is the day you've lost yourself." Maria leans forward, her expression kind but unflinching. "I've worked for the Dante family for 23 years. I've seen Antonio grow from an angry boy who inherited too much too soon into a man who carries the weight of hundreds of lives. He's not good, Mia, but he's not evil either. He's just powerful, and power in the wrong situation always looks like violence. How do you live with it? Knowing what he does? I remember what he prevents." Maria's eyes grow distant. The trafficking rings he's shut down, even though they weren't his business. The protection money he refuses to collect from struggling families. The way he handles disputes without bloodshed whenever possible. He's not a saint, but he's also not the monster the newspapers paint. Mia thinks about Victor Castellano's cold eyes, about Marcus's pathetic sobbing, about the casual way Antonio broke bones and made people disappear. She thinks about Sophia's medication appearing like magic, about feeling safe for the first time in a year, about the way Antonio looks at her like she's something rare and precious. "I don't know how to be this person," she admits. "How to accept protection that comes with a body count." "Then don't accept it passively. Make it mean something." Maria's voice carries conviction. "Antonio gave you power tonight. He told you he'd teach you his world. Use that. Learn how to direct his violence toward things that matter. Become the conscience he's been missing since his mother died." Before Mia can respond, the panic room door clicks. Her heart leaps into her throat, but it's Salvatore who appears. His suit rumpled but his expression calm. "It's over," he says simply. "Mister, Dante is asking for you." Mia carefully transfers Sophia to Maria's arms, her daughter barely stirring, exhausted by a day of play, and follows Salvatore through the penthouse. It looks untouched, perfectly clean. No sign of the military operation that deployed from here hours ago. Antonio stands on the terrace despite the February cold, still in his suit but with his tie loosened and blood on his knuckles. He doesn't turn when she approaches, just keeps staring out at Chicago's skyline like he's counting all the lights he controls. "How bad?" Mia asks. 3 Castellano warehouses burned, 2 of their street operations shut down. Victor's nephew is in the hospital with injuries that will take months to heal. Antonio's voice is flat, emotionless. And Victor himself received a visit that explained, in explicit detail, what happens if anyone in his organization even thinks about you again. You went yourself. I made it clear this was personal. Now he turns, and his eyes are haunted. I beat a man unconscious in front of his family, Mia. I made his children watch, because that's what it takes to make the message stick. Mia's stomach turns, but she forces herself to hold his gaze. His children? Teenagers. Old enough to understand that threatening what's mine has consequences. Old enough to carry the lesson back to their father when he wakes up. Antonio's jaw clenches. You're horrified. I can see it. I'm horrified that you had to do it, not that you did. Mia moves closer, until she can smell the smoke and blood on him. This is what you meant, what you tried to warn me about. This is mild compared to what I'm capable of. His hands curl into fists. I've killed people, Mia. Not many, but enough. I've ordered executions, disappeared problems, destroyed lives without losing sleep. And tonight I would have burned this entire city to ash if it meant keeping you and Sophia safe. I know. She reaches up, takes his bloodied hands in hers. And tomorrow I'll probably hate myself for saying this, but right now, I'm grateful. Because Victor Castellano wanted to hurt my daughter, and you made sure he'll never try. You should be running, Antonio says roughly. Any sane woman would be running. Then maybe I'm not sane. Mia brings his hands to her lips, kisses his damaged knuckles despite the blood. Or maybe I'm just tired of pretending that violence never touches my life. Marcus broke me with words. My landlord threatened me with child services. This city has been violent to me in small ways for years. At least your violence protects instead of destroys. Something in Antonio's expression cracks. He pulls her against him, holding tight enough that she can barely breathe, his face buried in her hair. I'm going to ruin you, he whispers. You're too good for this, and I'm going to ruin you. Then ruin me. Mia wraps her arms around him, feeling his heart pound against hers. But do it honestly. No more testing, no more warnings. Just show me who you really are and let me decide if I can love it. He kisses her then, and it's nothing like before. This is desperation and need, and the raw edge of someone who spent his whole life being feared, finally finding someone willing to see past the blood. When they break apart, both breathing hard, Antonio rests his forehead against hers. 1 month, he says. Give me 1 month to prove this can work. That you and Sophia can have a life here that's more than just survival. And if at the end of that month you want to leave, I'll set you up anywhere in the world. Complete freedom, complete safety, no strings. And if I stay, then you're mine, completely. You move in officially. Sophia starts at the best private school in Chicago, and I spend the rest of my life trying to deserve you. His thumb traces her cheekbone. But I need you to be sure, Mia. Because once you're fully in my world, there's no going back. You'll know too much, be too connected. Leaving would be complicated. Dangerous? Not from me. Never from me. But from others who might see you as a weakness or a source of information. He pulls back to look at her directly. I'm asking you to gamble everything on the belief that I'll protect you better than the alternative. It's an insane bet. Mia thinks about their studio apartment with its water stains and grinding refrigerator. About working 13-hour shifts for tips that never add up. About Marcus's threats and Mr. Kozlov's demands and the constant grinding fear of not being enough. She thinks about Sophia laughing with Maria, breathing easy with her new medication, sleeping in a castle bed like she's already a princess. She thinks about Antonio's hands brutal and gentle, capable of breaking bones and holding her like she's made of glass. 1 month, she agrees. But I have conditions. Name them. Sophia comes first, always. If there's danger, she gets out. If there's a choice between keeping her innocent and keeping her safe, we choose safe. Mia's voice is steel. I won't raise her to be naive about your world, but I also won't let it consume her childhood. Agreed. Elena already has Sophia enrolled in a school with top-tier security and counselors trained in helping kids from unconventional families. She'll be protected without being isolated. Second condition, I'm not decoration. You said you'd teach me your world. I want real knowledge. How your businesses work, who your allies are, what threats exist. I won't be a liability because I'm ignorant. Antonio's smile is slow, approving. I was hoping you'd say that. Salvatore has already started preparing briefing materials. Third condition, I keep some piece of myself separate. Maybe I volunteer somewhere, or take classes, or find something that's mine alone. I can't just be Antonio Dante's woman. I need to stay Mia Chen too. I'd never ask you to be anything else. He pulls her close again. You're what makes this bearable, Mia. Your normalcy, your kindness, your refusal to be impressed by my bullshit. Lose that, and I've lost the only real thing in my life. They stand wrapped in each other as dawn starts to paint Chicago's sky in shades of gold and pink. Somewhere in the city, Victor Castellano is learning that threatening Mia Chen was the biggest mistake of his criminal career. Somewhere, Marcus Webb is boarding a plane that will take him far from the life he tried to ruin. And here, in a penthouse that costs more than most people make in a lifetime, a waitress and a crime lord are trying to build something real from impossible circumstances. Come to bed, Antonio says softly. Not for sex, I know you're not ready. Just to sleep. I need to hold you and remember why tonight was worth it. Mia lets him lead her to his bedroom, a space she hasn't entered before. It's surprisingly simple. A massive bed, dark wood furniture, photographs of Elena and his nephew, books stacked on nightstands. Human. Real. They lie down fully clothed, Antonio's arms around her, her head on his chest. His heartbeat is steady beneath her ear, grounding. Thank you, she whispers into the darkness. For what? For being honest about the monster. Most men hide it until it's too late to run. You're not running. It's not quite a question. No, I'm staying. For 1 month. And probably longer. She tilts her head to look at him. Because you're right, I'm tired of being powerless. And if I have to ally with a monster to keep my daughter safe, at least mine is honest about his teeth. Antonio's laugh is surprise, genuine. I've been called many things. Never someone's monster before. Get used to it. Mia settles back against his chest. You wanted real. This is me being real. You're dangerous and violent and you solve problems with fear, but you're also the first person who's seen me as something worth protecting. So yes, you're my monster. And I'm learning to be okay with that. They fall asleep as the sun rises over Chicago, two broken people trying to build something whole from jagged pieces. The month passes in a blur of revelations and adjustments. True to his word, Antonio teaches Mia his world with brutal honesty. She learns that he owns 17 legitimate businesses, but 40% of his income comes from gambling operations, protection services, and facilitating deals that exist in legal gray areas. She learns the names of his allies and enemies, memorizes faces and territories, understands the delicate balance of power that keeps Chicago's underworld from erupting into open war. She meets his nephew, 8-year-old Marco, whose asthma medication Antonio pays for, whose private school tuition comes from money that started in shadowy places. The boy adores his uncle, shows no awareness of the darkness, just knows Uncle Tony is powerful and protective, and always keeps his promises. She watches Antonio negotiate a labor dispute at one of Elena's restaurants without raising his voice, using logic and compromise instead of intimidation. She also watches him handle a rival family's encroachment into Dante territory by making 3 of their top earners simply vanish. No violence, no bodies, just disappearance followed by returned operations and a chastened family that suddenly respects boundaries. Power, Antonio explains one night over dinner, isn't about violence. It's about making violence unnecessary through the credible threat of consequences. That's just a fancy way of saying intimidation, Mia counters. Yes, but intimidation without follow-through is weakness. The key is being willing to follow through while making it clear that not following through is the better option for everyone. He smiles at her expression. Welcome to my world, where philosophy and brutality hold hands. Sophia thrives. Her new school is small, exclusive, filled with children of diplomats and business leaders and people who don't ask uncomfortable questions. She makes friends, starts dance class, comes home every day chattering about art projects and playground adventures. Is Mr. Antonio my daddy now? She asks one night during bedtime. Mia's breath catches. Do you want him to be? He's nice, and he reads me stories with all the voices, and he lets me help cook breakfast even though I'm messy. Sophia's dark eyes are serious. But I don't want you to be sad if I love him. Baby, I could never be sad about you loving someone. Mia pulls her close. Mr. Antonio cares about you very much. And if someday he becomes more than just Mr. Antonio, that's okay. We'll figure it out together. Okay. Sophia yawns, content. Mama, I like our new life. Is it bad that I don't miss our old apartment? No, sweetheart, it just means you're happy. And that's all I ever wanted. After Sophia falls asleep, Mia finds Antonio in his office, working through contracts and reading glasses that make him look professorial instead of dangerous. She asked if you're her daddy, Mia says without preamble. Antonio's pen stills. What did you tell her? That it's her choice what to call you. That you care about her. That maybe someday the answer will be yes. She perches on the edge of his desk. Is that okay? Is that okay? Antonio removes his glasses, looking at her with an intensity that makes her breath catch. Mia, I've been waiting for permission to love that little girl since the moment I met her. If she wants to call me Dad, I'd be honored. Terrified, but honored. Why terrified? Because I have no idea how to be a father. My own dad was brilliant at empire building and terrible at parenting. I'm afraid I'll mess her up, teach her the wrong lessons, make her into something hard instead of letting her stay soft. His jaw clenches. She deserves better than a man who solves problems with fear. She deserves a man who will tear down the world to keep her safe, who reads stories with all the voices, who lets her be messy in the kitchen even though he's a control freak everywhere else. Mia reaches out, cups his face. You're already being the father she needs. The rest we'll figure out together. Antonio pulls her into his lap, holding tight. The month's almost up. I know. Are you staying? Mia thinks about everything she's learned, everything she's seen. The violence and the vulnerability, the power and the tenderness. The way Antonio commands monsters but gentle handles her daughter's heart. I'm staying, she says firmly. Not because I'm trapped or afraid or think I can't survive alone. I'm staying because I choose this. Choose you. Choose the safety and security and family you're offering, even knowing the cost. The cost is high, Mia. You'll always be a target. You'll always have to be careful about who you trust, where you go, what you say. You're giving up normal for something complicated and dangerous. Normal was dying slowly in a studio apartment while Marcus threatened me, and landlords called child services, and Sophia couldn't breathe properly. Because we couldn't afford her medication. Mia's voice is fierce. This might be dangerous, but it's also life. Real life, with possibility and power, and the feeling that tomorrow might actually be better than today. You're sure? He searches her face for doubt. I'm sure. She kisses him, slow and deliberate. I'm all in, Antonio. Me and Sophia both. So whatever comes next, we face it together. His smile transforms his entire face, making him look younger, lighter. Then I have something to show you. He leads her downstairs, out to his private garage where a dozen expensive cars sit like sleeping predators. But Antonio walks past all of them to a door Mia's never noticed before. Inside is an apartment, 2 bedrooms, full kitchen, living room decorated in soft purples and grays. It's ours? Mia breathes, taking in the space. It's Sophia's, connected to the main penthouse but separate enough that she has privacy when she gets older. The decorators left it neutral so she can choose her own colors, her own style. Antonio looks almost nervous. And this, he opens a door to reveal a room that's clearly an office, is for you, your space. Whatever you want to do with it, work, study, volunteer coordination, anything that's just yours. Mia's eyes burn. He listened, really listened to her condition about keeping something separate. There's one more thing. Antonio pulls a velvet box from his pocket. Inside is a ring, not flashy, not ostentatious. A simple platinum band with 3 small diamonds. I'm not asking you to marry me tonight, but I'm asking you to wear this as a promise. That when you're ready, when you're sure beyond any doubt, I'll be waiting. And that promise is just as binding as a wedding ring in my world. Antonio, you don't have to wear it yet. You can keep it in the box until you're ready. But I need you to know that my intentions are permanent, Mia. I'm not playing house or having a fling. I'm building a family with you and Sophia. Forever. Mia takes the ring from the box, slides it onto her finger. It fits perfectly. I'm ready now. You don't have to. I'm ready, she repeats, holding up her hand so the diamonds catch the light. I spent a year being afraid to commit, afraid to trust, afraid that choosing wrong would destroy us. But you've spent a month proving that you see me, value me, protect me without suffocating me. So yes, I'm ready. Ask me properly. Antonio drops to one knee right there in their new office, taking her hand in both of his. Mia Chen, will you marry me? Will you let me spend the rest of my life trying to deserve your kindness? Will you let Sophia be my daughter and build a family with me in this complicated, dangerous, beautiful life? Yes. The word comes without hesitation. Yes to all of it. He stands, kisses her with a passion that makes her knees weak, and for the first time since this all started, Mia feels something that's been missing from her life for years. Hope. Real, unshakable hope that tomorrow will be better than today. They tell Sophia the next morning over breakfast, both nervous about how she'll react. But Sophia just grins, chocolate milk mustache and all, and says, "Does this mean I can call him Daddy now?" "If you want to, baby." Daddy. Sophia tests the word, looking at Antonio shyly. Is that okay? Antonio's eyes are suspiciously bright as he crouches next to her chair. That's more than okay, Principessa. That's everything. Sophia throws her arms around his neck, and Mia watches her daughter, her whole world, embrace the man who's become their protector, provider, partner. 3 weeks later, they have a small wedding in Elena's private garden. Just family: Elena and her husband, Marco and his parents, Maria and Salvatore, a handful of Antonio's most trusted people. Sophia is the flower girl, taking her duties very seriously, making sure every petal is placed perfectly. When Antonio says his vows, his voice cracks. I thought I was buying your kindness with a payment. But you've given me something no money could buy. You've given me a family, a reason to be better, a home that feels like peace. He takes her hand. I promise to protect you, honor you, and try every day to deserve the gift of your love, even knowing I probably never will. Mia's vows are simpler. You showed me that strength doesn't mean facing everything alone, that accepting help isn't weakness, that sometimes the scariest thing is the right thing. She squeezes his hands. You're my monster, my protector, my partner, and I choose you. Every day, for the rest of my life, I choose you. They seal the vows with a kiss that makes Sophia giggle and Elena cry happy tears. And as they celebrate surrounded by people who've become family, Mia realizes something profound. She gave away $20 to a homeless man and gained the world. Not because of money or luxury or power, though those help, but because she chose kindness when it cost her everything. and found someone who recognized that kindness as rare and precious. Some love stories start with once upon a time. Theirs started with a test, a choice, and $20 that changed everything. 6 months later, Mia stands in the office Antonio gave her, surrounded by filing boxes and determination. The organization she's building, Women Rising, will help single mothers escape domestic violence, find housing, access resources. It's funded entirely by Antonio's legitimate businesses, but Mia doesn't ask where the seed money originally came from. Some questions are better left unexamined. How's it going? Antonio appears in the doorway, tie loosened, looking tired from a long day of managing his empire. Good. We've secured our first 3 apartments for transitional housing, and Elena connected me with a lawyer who's volunteering to help with custody cases. Mia turns to face him. I'm using your power for good. Does that bother you? Are you kidding? It's the sexiest thing you've ever done. He crosses to her, pulls her. Close. You're taking something built on darkness and making it mean something. You're exactly what I needed, Mia. The conscience I'd lost. I'm not your conscience. I'm your partner. She kisses him softly. And Sophia wants to know if you're coming to her dance recital on Saturday. I'll be there. Front row. He grins. I'm not missing my daughter's debut as a dancing flower. Your daughter. Mia's heart swells. You know the adoption paperwork is almost complete? Salvatore told me. By next month, she'll legally be Sophia Chen, and no one will ever question her place in this family. His hand rests on her still flat stomach. Speaking of which, I'm not pregnant. Mia laughs at his hopeful expression. Not yet anyway, but maybe someday, when Sophia's a little older and we've had time to just be us for a while. No rush. Antonio's smile is content. We've got time. All the time in the world. That night, Mia tucks Sophia into bed in their apartment within the penthouse, reading The Paper Bag Princess for the 100th time. When she finishes, Sophia looks up at her with serious eyes. Mama, are you happy? So happy, baby. Why? Because you smile now. Before, you were always sad even when you pretended not to be, but now you smile for real. Sophia touches Mia's cheek. I like it when you're happy. I like it too. Mia kisses her forehead. And you know what? Part of why I'm happy is you. Because you're brave and kind and you make every day better. And Daddy? And Daddy? Mia's throat tightens. We're lucky to have him, aren't we? The luckiest. Sophia yawns, already drifting toward sleep. Love you, Mama. Love you too, baby. Always. Later, in the bed she shares with Antonio, Mia lies awake listening to his steady breathing. 6 months ago, she was a struggling waitress who gave her last $20 to a stranger. Now she's a wife, a mother, a woman building an organization that will help others the way Antonio helped her. The journey wasn't clean or simple or morally uncomplicated, but it was real. And sometimes real is messy and dangerous, and requires compromising principles you thought were absolute. Antonio murmurs, pulling her closer. I can hear your brain working, just remembering where we started. And where are we now? Mia thinks about Sophia sleeping peacefully in her castle bed, about the women who'll find safety through her organization, about the family they've built from impossible circumstances. Home, she says simply. We're home. And for the first time in her life, she means it. Preparing and narrating this type of story took us long efforts and hard work. So, if you are enjoying the story, please consider subscribing to our channel.